All right. Testing one, two. Okay. So, hey there, everybody. Welcome to Cool Beans Hot Stuff. This is the first day that I am streaming on Kick, Rumble, X, and Twitch. So, if you've seen me pop up like 10 or 12 times in the last like 30 minutes between those four channels, and I look very confused by whatever's happening, that's why. Because I'm still trying to figure that all out and coming off of a 2 week long break from streaming. So we're getting back into the swing of things. I didn't like do my whole music and intro because I'm already an hour late. Fuck balls. What am I doing with my life? So, yeah. But we're figuring it out slowly but surely. So, anyways, welcome back. And I did see we have some people on Twitch that are back. Thanks for coming back, you guys. It's been a long time since I've been out here streaming on any of these platforms. And I'm kind of switching some stuff up on my channel. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, I guess this concerns you too. All five of my YouTube followers. So I'm no longer going to be streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays or uploading conspiracy theory videos onto YouTube or uploading mental health videos onto YouTube. So that's not happening for at least a little while I work on like my whole clipping game and make some adjustments to the stream that are much needed, kind of like upping the quality. I need to work on my background and get like a whole dedicated intro and shit for my YouTube channel, and still figuring out the whole multi-streaming thing. But that gives me a few days in the week because I'm just so crunched for time. I have like no time to sit and keep streaming 5 days a week. So I'm going to stream 3 days a week on Mondays. And instead of doing mental health Mondays, which I usually do on this channel, I'm going to be doing shitballs. What did I call it? It was like morbid Mondays, I think is what I called it. Macabre Mondays, something like that. So instead of terrifying Tuesdays, I'm doing macabre Mondays or morbid Mondays. Whichever one you feel like sounds better, just call it that. It's spooky stuff still, just like my Tuesdays, but only on Mondays now. And then Wednesdays, I'm hitting the news. That's still Newsweek Wednesdays, where I pick a topic that's all over the news. Ooh, this Wednesday is going to be so good. I'm so fucking stoked for this Wednesday. We're going to be talking about the payment processing fiasco, the collective shout fiasco, all of the censoring of video games that's happening on stream and itch.io. So I'm really stoked to talk about that. I've been all over my X account posting about that, gathering information. So that'll be a fun stream Wednesday. And I'll have my shit more together on Wednesday too. I'll actually know what the fuck I'm doing when it comes to like Kick and Rumble and all of that. So won't be such a big old grab ass when I hit you guys up. So, and then Fridays is still going to be Film Buff Fridays. We're still going to do, nobody likes my Film Buff Friday videos, but I gives no fucks. I enjoy it. I love it. It's like my breath of fresh air to just sit here and research film theory is what we're working on right now. Research film theory. And then eventually those Fridays, I want to do like film reviews and stuff like that. But got to work my way up to it, you see. So Fridays, I'm still work my way up to that, going through film theory type stuff, going to be learning about film theory. And you all can come in on Fridays for a couple hours and learn film theory and film criticism and film reviewing with me. And then on Mondays, we can learn about creepy, weird, cool shit that happens in the world. And then Wednesdays, I'll be just going through, giving you the news on whatever topic I personally am interested in that's happening in the news. And then at some date in the future, we'll get back to the conspiracy theory videos because those do really well. And I have so many of them lined up that I've done research for. But I have a few of them that I need to do a lot of research for. Before I come to the table and start doing videos about it, I need to, put my research cap on and really dig in deep to some of this shit. The conspiracy theory stuff is like the least the hardest to research, right? All of this shit, like cryptids today, we're doing the Arkansas cryptid video, and this is like fun to research. It takes like an hour to sit and run through different websites and find cool YouTube videos. And, it's an easy video to put together and it's a lot of fun to do. The conspiracy theory videos are much more difficult to put together and not nearly as many sources. The last conspiracy theory video I did, I spent like the last half hour bitching about hard it is to find different sources for any conspiracy theory to give you different angles on it. Every source is on for every conspiracy theory. Every source is just like a big fuck you. You're an idiot for believing in this, you moron. And that's about it. That's that's all I get. Every single article is just bashing you over the head with you're a douchebag. And the conspiracy theory videos, are meant to be fun. Like I'm just like putting this out there to have some fun to look into and research a little bit, not, sit here and read article after article about how anybody who believes in this is a dickhead, right? So much harder to research. So I need some time to research these next conspiracy theory videos, and I need to like up my clip game and start putting like clips on like fucking TikTok and Instagram and all the other bullshit. I need to like figure that out, learn how to do that. I really need to work on my Instagram and TikTok game. I think I got like 3 followers on Instagram and TikTok. And that's, I still don't have that many followers on anywhere else, but I have more than that at least. I mean, I have like 10 followers on every other social media, and that's like 3 times as many, right? So I need to work on it. So I'm going to be doing that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So anyways, changes happening to the channel. If anybody gives a shit, that's what's happening. And in the meantime, today, we're going to continue with my series, the 50 States of Cryptid series. So I'm going through state by state. Oh, I forgot to pull up my map. We're going through state by state, and we're looking up all of the most infamous cryptids that exist in each state. Each local cryptid, I pick like 8 or 9 of the coolest and most interesting, the ones that have the most data, I guess, on them, you could say. And then where is this? What is this? Target? Where's that a thing? And yeah, so then we just learn about the cryptids in that particular state. If you look at my map here, we've already done Arizona, and we got Alaska covered. And then we actually already did Alabama. I just forgot to put all my little things on my map. So I'm going to have to go back and do that at a different time. All the little sightings for where these different cryptids have been sighted. And today we're just going through the line. We're going over to Arkansas right now. So Arkansas, baby. Let's see what kind of creepy ass shit they got in Arkansas. All right. So we're going to start with the Arkansas Goro. Some of these, by the way, I'm not going to know how to pronounce. I don't know why Arkansas has so many difficult to say words. You swear with the name of some of this shit, all of you in Arkansas were like fucking French or something with all the words you make up down there. But it is what it is. So the Goro, this is an easy one. The Arkansas Goro. And look at this goofy little shit right here, right? This definitely wins the award for the goofiest cryptid I have ever seen. Look at those big ass feet. Big ass feet, one eyeball, little devil tail. It's kind of cute, like a pug in a ugly cute kind of way, right? Okay, so the Arkansas Goro, it even has a scientific name. Look at that. I'm not going to be able to say that. The Vertisquamata cruribrivis. Vertisquamata cruribrivis. I mean, that sounds, legit. I think I nailed it. I think we got it. Is a fearsome critter said to live in the caves of Arkansas, mainly in Searcy County. It has 2 tusks on its head and is 20 feet in length. It gets its name because of the horrible go-ro noise it makes when it kills its prey. Go-ro. It just says go-ro. That's the noise. It's go-ro. Okay. I mean, that is kind of creepy. Oh, wow. Look at all the sightings. Holy shit. Okay, we got a lot of sightings. We also got a video. Yeah, we have actual news video about that. So we're going to check that out here in a minute. Let's look at some of the sightings for the Goro. We can start putting this shit down on my Arkansas map. The Goro, one of the several fabulous, he's fabulous, the fabulous monsters reported in Arkansas popular lore, may owe its origins more to journalism than to traditional narrative and folk belief. The principal documentation of the creature's existence is a story that appeared in the Arkansas Gazette on January 31st, 1897. Oh, holy shit, that's a long time ago. Apparently written by Elbert Smithy. Elmer Burris, these fucking names, Albert Smithy and Elmer Burris, provided an illustration allegedly based on a photograph to accompany the piece. You think this is it right here? That guy? That is some goofy stuff. Fred Alsop, who edited the Gazette at the time, recounted the circumstances that led to Smithy's story. William Miller, a Little Rock businessman who had been traveling in the Ozarks of northwest Arkansas, told Smithy of a horrible monster known as the Goro. Its name came from the noise it made during its nocturnal depredations. The creature had been... What's a depredation? Nocturnal depredations. Okay, we're going to have to learn a new word. This happens. Depredation. Not heard that one before. The term depredation refers to damage or destruction, or an act that causes harm. Okay, so an act of destruction. Look at that. We're learning new shit. All day, every day. The creature has been slaughtering livestock and pets near Blanco in Searcy County and Calf Creek Township. Okay, so Blanco and Calf Creek Township. Okay, where's Blanco at? Blanco, Texas? No. Blanco, fuck. What's the two little letters for Arkansas? The abbreviation. Arkansas abbreviation. AK. Go back to my map. Blanco, AK. Not a thing. Okay. What was the other one? Sears County and Calf Creek Township. Searcy County. Searcy County. Oh, Arkansas. AR. Okay, well, we were way off. Arkansas. Okay, right there. And we want Blanco. Blanco's like a little town in there, I'm assuming. Let's see. We're not going to... Oh, there it is right there. Blanco. Okay. Let's save you, Blanco. New list. Arkansas spooky sites. Okay. So, as always, I'll link this map at the end of the stream in the YouTube video in the comments. So if you're in the Arkansas area at some point and want to go find yourself a Goro, you know where to go find it. Miller formed a posse that tracked the Goro to its lair, a cave littered with animal skeletons and even some human remains. As they waited to ambush the monster, they heard it emerge from a nearby lake, causing the earth to tremble. Oh shit, I must have missed that one. Earth trembled as it made its way toward them. The Goro perished after several volleys from the posse. Before its death, it ripped up several trees and tore off the leg of one of the posse members. Oh, that's a bummer. Poor Elmer. It was probably Elmer. Elbert. Poor Elbert. One-legged Elbert, they called him after this. An examination of the remains revealed a creature 20 feet in length with 2 tusks, large webbed feet ending in claws, a row of short horns along its back, and a long, thin tail with a blade on the end. God damn, this dude is set up. He's like a fucking character from Mortal Kombat, dude. Look at that shit. He's got horns. He's got a tail with a blade on it. He's got claws. He's got tusks. I think I already said that. 20 feet long and goes, go roll. Like, he's got everything. Williams claimed to have sent the body to the Smithsonian Institute, but it never arrived at the Washington, D.C. Museum. Alsop dismissed the account. It was a great fake, probably without foundation in fact. Another sighting occurred sometime before 1935. E.J. Rhodes heard a commotion in a deep cavern called Devil's Hole, 3 miles northwest of Myrtle, Arkansas. He crawled down 200 feet to investigate, but couldn't see anything. Later, when he lowered a flat iron on a rope into the cavern, the Goro bit through the rope. Yeah, 2 weeks of not streaming, I'm going to have to get back to hitting my burp button, so I'm not burping in your face the whole time. The Ozark research of folklore collector Vance Randolph revealed additional details about the Goro, which he believed had been reported as early as the 1880s. Randolph sources suggested that the Goro was a species of creature rather than an individual monstrosity. The young hatched from soft shelled eggs as large as beer kegs. How the hell would they know that? And the mother carried newly hatched infants in a pouch. We got a whole taxonomy. Taxonomy? I don't know if that's the right word, but seem to know a lot about these fucking things, right? Randolph related a story about an encounter with a Goro by a spelunker exploring Devil's Hole in Boone County. He also told of someone from Mena who claimed to have captured a Goro by including the creature to eat so many dried apples that it swelled to a size that prevented its escaping into its burrow. Okay. Okay, look, if I wasn't going to call bullshit on, like, the tails and the horns and the 20 feet long and all this other shit, that one right there. You literally captured it by feeding it apples until it got fat. Like, come on. Come on. Y'all are very creative down there in Arkansas, though. I will give you that. This is already turning out to be the most creative state out of the 4 that we've looked into. The Goro's captor was exhibiting his catch to anyone who would pay a quarter. Once he had a sufficient audience, the man would stagger from behind a curtain with his clothes and rags, announcing that the Goro had escaped. This sent the crowd into a panic without his having to produce an actual Goro. That's pretty clever. That's pretty fucking funny. Creatures such as the Goro abound in the folklore of exaggeration that is often associated with the frontier. Though sometimes stories about them may be told as true, more frequently they are tall tales. In fact, Randolph presented his material on the Goro in his collection of tall tales titled We Always Lie to Strangers. I'm going to have to look that one up. The Arkansas Goro made an official return in Linwood S. Sharp's The Plaid Fairy book. In the chapter, The Green Goro Killed in Searcy County, the chapter reads as follows, and they're giving us a whole thing from the chapter. That's what all this is. It's a whole counting. I don't know if I really want to read that whole counting of this, but from a careful examination of the photograph which I made of the monster, I am convinced it is a pachyderm and is a combination of the hyena and rhinoceros. It has incisor and canine teeth, which apparently show that it has some relationship to the Sumatran rhinoceros. Okay, I can say rhinoceros. I swear to God. All right, there's just thing with my eyes. Okay, I can't say that word. These animals were supposed to have long since disappeared from the earth. The remains are found in the Miocene formation. In all probability, this specimen was the last of its kind, and I regret very much that it was killed, as it would have been a vast interest to scientists and would have afforded a rare opportunity for gathering trustworthy information as to the characteristics of prehistoric animals. I have, however, made arrangements for gathering its bones and for the shipment to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington. So that was that one thing. Okay. In a popular trading card game, MetaZoo, possible explanations. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ozark folk humor because that's pretty hilarious. Here's some pictures. Like I said, very creative. Oh, look, they got a Pokemon card for it. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this. I have a news special here. Did the Goro exist? Let's go ahead and take a look, see what they have to say about it.
Now for an interesting take on an Ozarks legend or tall tale that dates back to the 1850s. You've probably heard of Bigfoot or the abominable snowman, but have you ever heard of a Gowrow? It's a dragon-type creature that legend has it. They used to roam the Ozarks, captivating monster hunters for generations.
So you guys didn't make it easy to say. A Gowrow instead of a Goro. I felt like the Goro was better, but Gowrow. Okay. Fuck me, fair enough. Fine.
Photojournalist Mason Seidel weighs into the mystery in a new segment we're calling Fact or Fiction.
The Ozarks, a region known for its hills and hollows, beautiful scenery, and the friendly people who live there. recognized in pop culture by TV shows like Netflix's hit series Ozark or 2010's award-winning movie Winter's Bone. The Ozarks is known by people across the country. It also has its fair share of mysteries and legends.
Every culture and every place has its own monsters, and the Ozarks is no different. Probably the most common monster that shows up in old folk tales and stories from the Ozarks is a creature called the Galrow.
Often described as a large reptilian creature with a long neck, big tusks, and a spiked tail. Some might compare it to a dragon.
As far as I know, it didn't breathe fire or anything like that, but that's about the only thing that it didn't do that wouldn't make it like a dragon or something like that.
This monster, whose legends place it mostly in the woods
That
of
is
northern
very
Arkansas,
scientific.
has no shortage of stories and folklore surrounding it.
There's an old tradition in Appalachia, the Ozarks, of jack tales. And the Galrow sometimes even shows up in jack tales. There's one old tale from the Ozarks in which a boy, like a teenage boy named Jack, ventures into this town somewhere deep in the Ozarks.
It's here where the hero of the story runs into a family fleeing the town in a covered wagon.
The father who's driving the team says he comes out once a year and he eats a 16-year-old maiden. The guy says, I'll tell you what, if you can kill the Galrow, you can marry my daughter.
So he heads into town and meets with a blacksmith who explains that in order to kill the monster, he has to hit it in the right spot, and then hands him a gun with 3 silver darts.
It's the
This is very much reminiscent of like old school fairy tale type shit, from like England and shit. Slay the Dragon. I don't know what the name of it that I'm looking for is, but you know what I mean. Merlin, wizards, all that shit. Very similar to that. This dude better have a hot daughter.
We're not doing a crossbow or something like that. It's a giant shotgun with 3 silver darts, and he sends him on his way. And the Galrow comes out and attacks Jack. Jack misses him with the first 2 darts, and as you would expect,
Jack.
the third one hits the mark, kills the Galrow. And
I was not expecting
to go back and marry the daughter and share in the wealth of the farm.
But these were more than just stories. If you were lucky, you might get your own first-hand experience with the Galrow.
There are other stories in the 19th century of these tent shows where people would, where these carnies would claim to have captured a Galrow, and we've got it chained up in the back, and there's all these noises and fire and clanging of chains coming from the back.
That's when the real show would start.
The trick was that once they had collected everyone's money to go in and view the Galrow, then there would be this loud explosion in back, and the tent would crash in, and the guy would run out of the tent with blood dripping from his face and yell, "The Galrow's loose, get out of here!" And everybody runs, and so you make sure you get their money before you scare them off, and they don't have to see the Galrow. But apparently that was, at one point, that may have actually been a tent show that at least fooled a few people.
If anybody accuses you Arkansans of not being smart, that's why.
People in a few places before folks got wise to what was going on with the Galrow show.
But was the Galrow just a sideshow act, or was it something more?
The Galrow was so well known in Ozarks folklore that in 1897 there was a traveling salesman in North Arkansas. This traveling salesman claimed to have captured a Galrow, which would be a really hard thing to do, knowing the description of the Galrow.
Word quickly spread of the salesman's story and even got the attention of several newspapers in the area.
This story actually shows up in newspapers and stuff in the late 1800s, and when asked about it, he claimed to have sent the skeleton to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C., and somehow it got lost on the way there.
Jesus, stop. Okay. Anybody who's been watching the channel kind of should know by this point, just because the newspaper wrote about it doesn't mean it really happened, especially in like the 1800s. We have newspaper clippings of them finding giants in San Francisco, newspaper clippings Uh, oh God, what else was there? UFO that crash landed in Alaska. Oh, more giants found in Alaska. Pterodactyls. The newspaper clipping of the man who went to, I think it was Madagascar, and watched the native tribe there feed a woman to a plant, to a tree. And then, scientists actually going to Madagascar because of that newspaper story and finding out that that tribe didn't even exist. Like, it was just a made up bunch of shit. So, just because the newspaper says it, especially in the 1800s, hey, they didn't have, the fucking internet in the 1800s, obviously. It's not like they could just Google this shit and figure out, if this is a real thing or not. So, there's a lot of that in America. A lot of newspaper clippings, which for the record are pretty fun.
They had never made it, but we were that close to having proof of the Galrow.
Never made it. Isn't that just a funny quinkink? Okay. Well, that's the...
It's Wheeler Gardens 50% off summer
So,
clearance.
that's the Galrow. You know what? Just get out of here. And you too. Get out of here. Okay, so that's one of the more... That seemed to be the most legendary as far as folklore goes of cryptids in Arkansas. But I couldn't find a single... Aside from a supposed newspaper clipping, which I also couldn't find anywhere on the internet, that's about the only proof of it. Really, it just sounds like kind of a interesting, cool story. I mean, I think that's really cool that Arkansas does have folklore like that, man, of this like fucking dragon ass fucking thing that you got to go slay for the fucking hot Arkansas girl, whatever that looks like. And yeah, so I think that's cool. That's a neat bit of culture down there. So if you're in Arkansas, that's really dope. Let's move on to the next one, though. I think this one, maybe this was it, maybe this wasn't. I think no, a little bit later in. This one didn't have as much validity, but in fact, this one actually was really hard to find anything about. This is the Heber Springs water panther. Okay, so Heber Springs. Hold on, we're gonna pop back over here to the map. Heber Springs. Get out of here. Heber Springs, Arkansas. How big is that? 7,000 people? Okay. Let's go ahead and save you, Heber Springs, to Arkansas Spooky Sites. Okay. All right, look at that. We're ready to go. Oh, yeah, I forget that Arkansas is so close to Tennessee. I drive through it all the time. And whenever I'm going across the country, obviously. And now I got some interesting places to stop. Blanco? Have I ever been to Blanco? I guess I was thinking that sounded fucking familiar. Blanco. What are like the bigger... I mean, but that's really close. I don't know if you're watching Cutie Pie. My Cutie Pie watches the stream sometimes. If you're watching, we definitely need to hit up the Alabama spooky sites. I'll remake the map for that. But Arkansas spooky sites. We need to check some of these out with Bundy. He would love to do that. And Heber Springs Water Panther is the next one. Okay. Let's read about that after I get done eating my lemon head. That was very bad timing, I admit. Okay. Perhaps the most overlooked monster legend in the natural site is the Heber Springs Water Panther. Yeah, no shit. Like I said, this one was hard to find information on. A weird cross between a Bigfoot and a puma. The creature reportedly can breathe both on land and underwater. Okay, so if you've watched any of the cryptid videos I put out, either on YouTube or anywhere else, something else you've caught on to is there's Bigfoots everywhere. Every state has a Bigfoot. I can never remember how they pronounce it in Arizona. They decided to take the very simple and easy word to say Bigfoot and turn it into like a fucking word with like L's that are pronounced with W's and some other god awful shit. It's like the something shit, the thing. They have the Bushman in Alaska and the White Thing in Alabama. And then apparently this is Arkansas's version of Bigfoot, the Heber Springs Water Panther, which sounds nothing like a Bigfoot. But it is manlike with a covering of fur and gives off a hellish scream when roaming the deep forests. Witnesses say it can be spotted haunting the waters of Greer's Ferry Lake and the Little Red River. Okay, like the others, the water panther has not been seen in recent years. Perhaps fewer people are venturing through the woods and swamps at midnight in the 21st century, accounting for fewer sightings. Well, I mean, that's probably smart. You can't blame them. And maybe high-tech video games and movies have obscured the old legends and folk tales of a few decades ago. But if monster and Sasquatch sightings come in 30-year cycles, as cryptozoologists maintain, the beastly season may just be ahead. I have never heard that. 30-year cycles. Okay. I guess there's a cycle to everything. Greer's Ferry Lake. Let's see where you're at. Greer's Ferry Lake. Oh, it's right there. Okay. So Greer's Ferry Lake, and then the red something or another. What was that? Little Red River. I'm assuming that's it right there. We're right here, because those are both little rivers. Little Red River, Arkansas. Oh, that's over there. Okay. Oh, I see. I get it. The river goes all the way over here. Okay, starts off right there. Okay. Well, we're just going to go ahead and stick with Heber Springs, because that's kind of in the area. I guess we can pop over Greer's Ferry Lake. Let's go ahead and put a little thingy jigger. Okay, I don't know how to do it like that. Greer's Ferry Lake, Arkansas. Save Arkansas spooky sites. Okay. Why did that not put my little bookmark thingy? Okay, well, I'll figure it out later. Fuck it. Okay, and we did one thing, about the only thing I could find about the Heber Springs Water Panther is a whole shit ton of TikTok videos. So I guess I'm just gonna pull through these bitches and watch them all, see what they have to say.
This one is going to take us to Heber Springs and the Greer's Ferry Lake. Before we get into all the craziness that goes on at this place, I gotta say thank you to two people. Dana, I think that's how I say your name. Thank you for pointing me in the direction of a certain creature. And to Greg, thank you for sharing your story. This one's for y'all.
And that was it? Oh, okay. Well, that was very unexciting.
Arkansas. You better be on the lookout if you're ever in Heber Springs, Arkansas, because it's said to be the home
of a monster.
Nope, we're not doing this.
A monster.
It's said to be the home of the water panther, specifically Ferry Lake Greer's and the Little Red River, and it's believed to be able to breathe underwater. It's said to resemble an odd combination of a puma and a Bigfoot, and like all monsters, it's said to give off a terrifying scream. Either way, just be careful when you decide to wade in the waters of any lake. Sightings have begun dwindling down in the last several years, but that tends to happen when folks stay inside rather than exploring the outdoors. Arkansas. You better be on the lookout if you're ever in Heber Springs, Arkansas.
There's that.
Because it's...
You know, if I had to pick between the Gowrow and the Heber Springs Water Panther, I feel like that Gowrow is going to be fucking that Water Panther up. My money's on him.
Residing in a limestone cave near the Little Red River is a strange beast that's been reported since the early 1900s. A cross between a large cat and a Bigfoot. This is the Heber Springs Water Panther of Arkansas. Reports date back to Native American tribes, reporting a dangerous spirit lurking in the waters, dragging animals and people to an eerie death. The creature is described as a hairy, half-panther, half-humanoid creature that dwells in the water and lives in a cave. Tales of a water panther type creature have been seen through North American history dating back farther than the 1700s. What do you think about an aquatic Bigfoot? Residing in a line...
Like, you know what I think? That motherfucker must smell really bad. Like half a cat. Cats already kind of stinky. Cats mixed with a Bigfoot. Big ass feet. It's going to stink. Right? Covered in hair. Nappy ass hair from like swimming in the water. The lake water. That motherfucker must be stanky. The Heber Heber. You know, they could have put an A in there or an extra E, 2 E's to let me know, but y'all in Arkansas just spell shit funny. And that's all that is. And we had one more.
Delve
Let's see
into
what they
the
have to say.
mystery of the Heber Springs water panther, a cryptid rooted in Native American folklore. Imagine Bigfoot crossed with a puma, a malevolent spirit known for dragging the unsuspecting under. A flooded habitat in Greer's Ferry Lake quieted sightings until 1966. Today it's spotted swimming in the lake with eerie screams reported from a cave on the northern shore. The mystery of the water panther, a chilling tale of mythology meets reality. Please like and subscribe. Delve
feel
into
like
the mystery.
Those were jaguars. Yeah. Now they're shown. Jaguars are super cute. But and none of those videos really had to say anything new or interesting about it. Just it's a half a Bigfoot and half a panther. And it swims. And it's hairy. And it probably stinks. And that's it. Okay. Put me back over Meow. So, we're going to continue. I'm pretty sure that Heber Springs water panther getting his ass kicked by that Gowrow, though. Gowrow's totally fucking him up. He's got the whole tail and everything. He's set to go. He's Mortal Kombat, this dude. All right, but we have and I know I'm going to fucking mispronounce this one too, because y'all just spell shit funky in Arkansas. The folk monster. Folk. I mean, we're gonna see because I have a video, so I'm sure they'll just tell us. Let's just see. Let's watch the video.
May 1971. A creature described as being 7 feet tall and 3 feet across his chest, with red eyes, quick movements, and heavy breathing attacked 2 people in Fouke, Arkansas. Bobby Ford and his wife, Elizabeth, both reported...
Fouke it is. See, I would have never... Fouke? I guess, yeah. Okay, fine. That one's not so bad. Fouke is a small town in southwestern Arkansas that attracted attention in the early 1970s when a resident of Texarkana reported being attacked by a mysterious creature there. A reporter for the Texarkana Gazette wrote an article about the events, and from that small publication, a legend was born. The Fouke and its monster became famous and were featured in a 1972 movie. Oh, The Legend of Boggy Creek. Oh, we'll have to look that one up. In May 1971, Bobby Ford reported to the Fouke constable that he was attacked at his house by a hairy creature that breathed heavily, had red eyes, and moved very fast. Ford said the man-like creature, which was about 7 feet tall and 3 feet across the chest, put its arm around his shoulder and grabbed him. He was just trying to give him a friendly, brotherly hug, like, hey there, little guy. Ford broke free from the creature and ran, reporting that he ran so fast that he did not stop to open the front door, but barreled right through it. He was treated at a local hospital for minor scratches and shock. Ford said the being had been around his house for several days and that there were other eyewitnesses, including his brother and a hunting companion. Ford's wife, Elizabeth, claimed that she was asleep in the front room when she saw a hairy man with claws coming in the window. Oh, shit. And he left his wife there, too. Can you believe that? He was so fucking scared, he left his wife there. Hey, what's going on, Razor? How are you doing, man? Here, I think... Oh, wait. Chat's right over my face. Okay, let me pop it down here. What's going on, man? How you doing today? Haven't seen you in a minute, man. Thanks for popping back into the stream after 2 weeks of me not being here. Good, glad to hear it. How's the job hunt going? Oh, I'm going pretty good. Just into streaming. Took like a 2-week break. Get my Kick and my Rumble together. I'm streaming on Kick and Rumble now, too. And so, yeah. Took a couple weeks to do that. Clip out some videos for TikTok. All that good shit. You know what I mean? So just working on stuff. Oh, had to get a whole new roof. So got a new roof put on my house. All that stuff. How's the job hunt going, by the way? Any luck with that? Last time I talked to you, you were getting a new job, getting out of the security gig. Hopefully you've had some luck with that, man. So, yeah, this dude completely left his wife. with the hairy man monster. That's never good. Okay, Falk, hold on. We gotta, before I forget, put Falk in here. Save it to the spooky sites. Okay, where's Falk? Where are we at here? They did say the southwestern corner, right? Okay, so that's a little bit farther away from me. I'm in Tennessee. So, but, might be worth a trip. Let's keep reading. Let's see how spooky this gets. Spooky enough that this dude just full blown left his wife. That's for sure. So, okay. Elizabeth claimed she was asleep in the front room when she saw a hairy man with claws coming in the window. She also saw the creature's red eyes. On the night of the attack, Ford claimed he and his hunting companions, is that how you would? Yeah, he and his hunting companions spotted the creature at the back of Ford's house with the aid of a flashlight. They shot at it and thought they saw it fall. The men started out toward it, but Bobby Ford ran back to the house when the group heard women screaming. Upon Ford's return to the house, he was attacked. The men shot at the creature several more times, but investigators never found blood. The sheriff's department searched the area, and the only things officers found were a set of strange tracks and claw scratches on Ford's porch. Jim Powell, then a reporter for the Texarkana Gazette and the Texarkana Daily News, and Dave Hall, then director of Texarkana radio station, went to Ford's place and found a terrified family moving out of the house it had owned less than a week. Powell wrote an article that appeared in the newspaper outlining the family's alleged sighting and attack. The next day, both the Texarkana Gazette and the Daily published the same follow-up story. It contained the first reference to the name Falk Monster. The Associated Press and United Press International Wire Services transmitted the article to newspapers across the nation. In 1972, the incident was made into a movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek, which perpetuated the story into an even larger audience. The movie, filmed in Falk, is a pseudo-documentary thriller about the creature in the town, and it stars some of the eyewitnesses and residents of Falk. Oh, that's kind of cool. Reported sightings of the Falk monster date back as far as 1946, when a resident reported to Miller County Sheriff Leslie Greer that she had seen a strange creature near her home. Sightings of a creature have been reported throughout Falk history, but no sighting has been as famous as the one that gained national attention in 1971. Okay, we got to look at that. The Legend of Boggy Creek. Yeah, absolutely, man, for sure. That's same thing. Yeah, man, need to take a little break just to kind of, you know what I mean, get like all the rest of the channels figured out and get better at clipping out my videos, all that good stuff, you know what I mean? So it's honestly kind of boring. I hate doing the clips. The clips are so boring. But it's kind of like a necessary thing that you got to do, I guess, nowadays when you're streaming, I suppose. That's what everybody says. So I'm going with him. But how do I got a new, if you didn't notice, I put up a new chat in the corner too, but I can't figure out how to write in the fucking chat. Here, let me try. No. You know what? I can pop. Oh, not that. I can pop over here and do it. This will suffice for now. We'll do this. There you go. So I'll have to hit you up on Twitch until I figure out how the fuck to do the messages in my new restream model. Because I just did a whole switcheroo on that too. But okay, there we go. It still pops up there at least. All right, fair enough. Okay, Legend of Boggy Creek. Let's see, 5.2 stars. No, there was that picture that we saw earlier. When did this come out? .2, yeah. Where's the year on this bad boy? 1972. Okay. Huh. All right. Well, you can check that out then if you feel like it. Let's hop back over here, watch this video on the Falk monster from All About Arkansas. See what she has to say
being
about it.
attacked by this humanoid-like creature. According to Elizabeth Ford, she had been asleep in the front room of their house when she saw a hairy arm with claws coming in the window. She also saw the creature's red eyes. She was terrified and ran out of the room. A few days later, Mr. Ford and some of his hunting buddies returned home late one evening after a hunt. That's when they noticed a huge figure standing near the back of the house. They fired at the beast and thought they saw it fall to the ground. But before they could go look at it, Mr. Ford heard his wife screaming and he ran back to the house. While running through the house, a 7-foot-tall creature grabbed Mr. Ford across the shoulders. Somehow, he broke free from the creature and crashed through the front door. His hunting buddies shot at the creature several more times,
I wonder if this is
but
the
investigators never found blood. All the sheriff's department found were a strange set of tracks and claw marks on Mr. Ford's front porch.
Okay.
After these events, the Ford family
moved
moved out of the house they had owned less than a week. According to FalkMonster.net, in 2019, a hunter was scanning an area of woods with his binoculars when he caught sight of a dark figure at the end of a game trail about 150 yards away. It appeared to be at least 6 feet tall and covered in long, matted black hair. He described it as being muscular, but not thick in the torso. In 2024, a prominent Falk researcher observed a tall, dark, upright figure walking through the woods near a swampy lake at a distance of only 30 yards. The subject, which was not human, was visible for several seconds as it walked through an open spot in the thick trees. The researcher and 2 other individuals pursued it, but it slipped into the woods and was not seen again. 4 hours after the researchers saw the figure in the woods, another person saw a shadowy figure run across a lighted area not far from the location where the previous sighting took place. Year after year, sightings continue to be reported. Arkansas has more stories to tell besides just the Falk monster, also known as the Boggy Creek monster. There is a Bigfoot-like creature near the Buffalo National River and a very interesting river monster in the White River.
Oh, we'll talk about that one.
If you have any stories to share about the Falk monster or any Bigfoot-esque creatures, be sure to leave it in the comments. Also, a huge thank you to our Patreon.
Yeah, I'll give her a like. That was nice. Didn't give us all that much new information, but let's see. I think we have another one. Yeah, here we go. There's a Facebook video about it. This time I'll pop the, there we go, subtitles on for you. Okay, let's see what they have to say.
The Falk monster has struck fear throughout southern Arkansas for over a century. Terrifying tales of local encounters with the creature date back to the first inhabitants of the region, the Caddo people, who recounted shocking run-ins with what they called the Hayakatsi, or lost giant. The first documented sighting of the monster appears in an 1851 article in the Arkansas Gazette, describing a tall, hairy, human-like beast stalking cattle. Then, in 1856, there are reports of a posse sent out to capture the cryptid. The mission ends in horror as a man is mauled, his eye allegedly gouged out, and flesh torn away by the creature's teeth. After
Fucker goes for the eyes. What a dick.
Established in 1890, terrifying encounters with the monster only escalate, with most taking place around nearby Sulphur River and Boggy Creek Swamp. Witnesses commonly describe the creature as towering 7 to 10 feet tall, with reddish black hair and a blood-curdling howl. Sightings peak in 1971 when a man named Bobby Ford is hospitalized, claiming to have been attacked by the savage cryptid. The monster then goes from local legend to national news sensation when Arkansas-based filmmaker Charles B. Pierce is inspired to create the 1972 horror movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek. The movie grosses $25 million and draws legions of prospective monster hunters to Fouke, all hungry to capture or kill the beast. And yet, despite much effort, no one is able to produce enough evidence to definitively prove its existence. But the supposed sightings have never stopped.
That's suspicious.
If anything, they've spiked. To this day, the lure of the legendary monster keeps thrill seekers flocking to Fouke. Recent distressing reports include a Fouke resident claiming he witnessed the monster savagely attack and...
I feel like that's got to be the only reason anybody goes to Fouke. How big was... We'll look at it again, how big it is, but that's probably the only thing Fouke has going for him. We got a monster here that'll eat you, y'all. Rip your eyeballs out. Come out and take a gander.
Kill his horse. And a local woman recently captured a recording of what is believed to be the creature's bone-chilling howl. Is the Fouke monster the southern version of Bigfoot? Could the uptick in sightings suggest there are multiple...
Does he bang his cousin? Okay, I just had to say it.
...monsters out there? Or could it even be something supernatural, as many believe?
Supernatural, huh? Oh, yeah. Get that out of there. Okay. So, that's the Fouke monster. And let's go back to Google Maps. How big is Fouke? Fouke... 800 people. Yeah. So, that's about what you got going for you. Y'all got a monster. That's what it is. Hey, no shade, man. I'm from like a town of 2,000 people. Right, but there's a reason I don't still live there. Because there's only 2,000 fucking people. So, but, you know, cool. I still feel like White Thing in Alabama is the most entertaining variation of Bigfoot. White Thing, followed by the Heber Springs Water Panther. That's kind of an interesting one. And then I still think, what was it? The Gowrow. The Gowrow can fuck this dude up. Gowrow, I think he's going to be fucking up all the other monsters on this list. Ain't nobody got the Gowrow. Except for maybe this guy. Look at this dude. That's one hell of a smile right there. How do I... Look at that. Still remember how to do it. Yeah. That's one big ass fish. I'm not much of a fisherman anyways, but I sure as shit wouldn't want to reel that guy in. Okay, so this is the White River Monster. That lady, that video that we just watched, the All Things Arkansas or Everything About Arkansas or whatever that channel was, she mentioned the White River Monster. This is probably behind the Fouke Monster and the Gowrow. This is the most famous cryptid in Arkansas. So, of course, every state has to have their water-based cryptid, right? Even Arizona, has to have, the desert still has a water-based cryptid, and this is Arkansas. So let's go ahead and read about it. The White River Monster, or Whitey. Hey, that's my nickname. That's what everybody called me in high school. And they also called me Whitey Tidies, which was bullshit. That wasn't as cool. But anyways, Whitey is an iconic cryptid known from the White River in Newport, Arkansas. The first recording sightings of Whitey are from 1915, but the creature has allegedly been seen since the American Civil War. On July 1st, 1915, a plantation owner spotted Whitey, stating that it had gray skin and was as wide as a car and 3 cars long. Sightings didn't happen again until 1971, when a variety of descriptions emerged. One witness said that the creature was gray and had a horn protruding from its forehead, while another description made note of a spiny back. Other features, such as 3 or 5-toed footprints measuring 14 inches long and unidentified sounds, had been reported as well. Again, y'all in Arkansas are so fucking creative. Y'all think of the craziest shit. According to cryptozoologist Roy Mackle, the creature is nothing more than an elephant seal that entered the White River via the Mississippi River. Another possibility is that Whitey is simply a large, unidentified fish. An unlikely possibility could be that it's a presumed to be extinct Expactichinus. I think we actually went over the Expactichinus on one of the dinosaur episodes I did that nobody watched because nobody likes dinosaurs, apparently. Somehow able to survive in the fresh water of the White River rather than the salt water of the ocean where it used to roam. And it was featured in the second season of Animal Planet's Lost Tapes, where it attacked a trio of catfish noodlers on the White River. Oh, look, we even get this is an exact I don't know how to say that. It's gonna fuck me up. Exficcantus. We're gonna say X. We're Mr. X. This is Mr. X right here. He's a big boy. That's a pretty big ass fucking fish. And they do have some monstrous teeth, or they did have some monstrous teeth on those motherfuckers. And speaking of those lost tapes, we got that right here from Animal Planet. Or we got a 2-minute section of the lost clip. So let's go ahead. We'll watch our little 2-minute section of the lost tapes, excuse me. Make sure we got the subtitles on. Let's see what they have to say about it. Oh. I got you, Razor. Here, let me hit you back up in the chat.
Lost Tapes. White River Monster. Far more than just a regional legend, some even claim the White River Monster might have affected the Civil War. At that time, the White River was a major transportation route, and according to local lore, the monster was believed to be responsible for overturning a Confederate munitions boat.
In July of 1971, you had the Richard
Dinosaur
Cody
fish
report. They described this creature coming up underneath their boat and them feeling like this creature was out to attack them.
It lifted their boat out of the water, so apparently they were riding on the back of this creature the size of a railroad boxcar.
White River Monster seems to show all of the characteristics.
Well, that's a super cute monster right there.
Creature.
That guy needs a hug.
Some out-of-place alligators thrown in too.
Some of the sightings say that this animal had a rough-looking hide that appeared to be peeling. Dr. Roy Mackle wrote extensively about the White River Monster and concluded that probably a rogue male elephant seal had come up from the Gulf of Mexico and had made its way up to the town of Newport in the bend in the White River. You probably don't want to be in close contact with a bull elephant seal capable of lifting 2 men in a boat out of the water.
Alligators, of course, we know do cause fatalities, and they do have a lot of characteristics we see in the White River Monster.
There have been similar reports of crocodilians after civil wars where there are lots of violence into rivers, that these animals become more accustomed to eating human remains.
Yeah, like Razor was saying, only 5% of the creatures in the sea have been discovered. That is fucking crazy. That's way crazy. 5%, that's fucking wild. Yeah, well, we don't go into like the deep sea. We can't, I don't think, right? Like the super duper deep, you know, like the Mariana Trench and shit. There's probably all sorts of fucked up shit down there, man. I don't want to be there. I don't go near the fucking ocean, right? Because of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got Whitey and big ass Mr. X floating around in this river here. Imagine what's in the sea. Fuck that shit.
Supposedly, this is correlated with an increase in the
Oh,
number
good.
of
Bird got away.
attacks.
People are much better off not knowing what things are swimming around in the rivers and lakes.
Oh.
I don't blame you for being ruthless. I admire it.
I don't know what this is.
Listen to this.
That was the Lost Tapes on Whitey. And I gotta say, he's the most interesting of all of them. We still got more, though. Here's an actual K8 News report on Whitey. So let's see what they have to tell us now.
It's the second week of October and time for our next Hidden Haunt segment. We made the trip down Highway 67 to Newport, where legend says a monster may be lurking in the White River. Alejandra Hernandez tells us more about what may be swimming below the surface, and even went out to the river to see if she could catch the first glimpse of the monster in decades.
In the heart of Jackson County lies Newport, a city just under 10,000 people call home. But what if more than just people call it home? Well, history says yes. For decades, locals spotted a large monster calling the White River its home. Julie Allen is the director of the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber has kept records of the monster with hopes of learning more about it. Some of the first recorded sightings of the White River Monster date back to 1915.
It started way back when the Native Americans lived alongside the White River with sightings then.
And more would happen in the years that followed, until 1937, when Bramlett Bateman caught enough of a glimpse of the monster.
Originally, it was said to have the skin of an elephant.
The sightings would continue for years until 1971,
The skin of an
when
elephant.
someone else got a closer look at the monster.
And they said it was the size of a boxcar with the width between its eyes being up to 6 feet.
Only words would describe the White River monster until later that year.
So this here is pretty much the only documented photo we have of the
I can barely hear.
See the, I guess, the spine here. Is that right? Or
Correct.
Is that
They
the
didn't
spine and the
turn her mic on.
Long, I think almost Loch Ness monster, or another,
That's what it looks
water
like.
dweller that likes the depths.
The last sighting happened
yeah.
in 1974 when 2 residents saw tracks on the riverbank. Despite last being seen around 50 years ago, we took our search to its home.
We're going to take a couple of curves downriver and come up to Towhead Island, which connects to a creek, which is where we may see a monster.
Allen said even though the first sightings of the monster was recorded
That looks
in the
very
early
peaceful, though.
1900s,
That river
legends say
looks nice.
it's been around for much longer.
Native Americans who lived along the banks of the White River first spotted it. The American Civil War, word has it that vessels on the river were sunken by some large creature.
After some time on the river, we arrive at Towhead Island and the search began.
Okay. Two-Head Island. Towhead Island.
Oh.
That's probably not a river
I was
monster.
like, what is that?
It looked like something.
It looked like something for a second.
It was
Mother
something.
Nature had other ideas.
Probably wasn't a river monster.
The river's low level cut our search short, and we returned to Newport. While the monster is a favorite among the locals, that didn't stop hunters from outside the area from coming to catch the creature.
One of our state senators from this region inspired the state Senate to make a resolution calling this part of the White River Refuge Sanctuary.
That legislation protecting the White River monster in the Newport area. Despite not being seen in decades, Newport continues to embrace the legend of the White River monster, from being part of its festivals to even a huge part of the eclipse planning in April. And who knows, even though the monster evaded our cameras, that doesn't mean it can't be out there, waiting for its next chance to resurface.
Dun dun dun. I just like it because its name is
Our
Whitey.
1 hour.
I feel connected to this goofy ass monster. Give him a like. And I got another video. Once upon a time in Arkansas, White River Monster. Arkansas PBS. Hold up, before we do that. It was Newport, was that it? Newport, Arkansas. And here's the White River right here. So let's go ahead and save that. How big is Newport? 78,000 or 7,800. Excuse me. Okay. And what was the name of the White River, obviously. Towhead. Was it Towhead or it was Towhead with an E? Towhead Island, Arkansas. Oh, right there. Okay. Let's save that. Bam. Towhead. You're in Arkansas spooky sites now. And, look at that. That's the closest one to Tennessee. Okay. We might be visiting Towhead, Cutie Pie, one of these days. Okay. Let's see what these folks have to say over at PBS.
Fishing stories are pervasive in Arkansas. We've all heard harrowing tales of hooking a monster. And every time the story's told, that fish seems to get bigger and meaner. When you're uncovering the oldest stories of a place, the lore of a place, it's a lot like having a monster fish on the end of your line. No matter how you try to control it, it's got a mind of its own.
Cryptozoology is basically the study of unknown or undiscovered creatures. And it kind of has fallen over into the odd stories like Bigfoot and Loch Ness and all the oddity stories. Well, Mr. Jamie, what are they biting on this week?
My uncle he'd say, let me look in your box, and he'd try to pick something he didn't have.
Basically, since I was a kid, have always had an interest in anything unusual. And as I've gotten older and gotten the chance to go out and explore and actually talk to people that have witnessed these things, everyday, ordinary people, doctors, housewives, pet salon owners, real people are seeing things or hearing things when they are out in the wilderness that they cannot explain, and it makes you wonder what really is out there. Surprisingly, there seems to be quite a few oddities here in Arkansas. One of the lesser known ones is the White River Monster. The earliest report I can find is 1864. A colonel in the Civil War, Colonel Craven, decided to go out fishing on the White River. As fish stories go, he hooked a monster that he referred to as a devilfish. He said it was 6 inches between its eyes, is how big its head was, and that the body itself was 5 foot wide. He said it had more legs and claws than he could count.
Has legs. Okay. Fish with legs.
There's so many animals that people thought were extinct that weren't. We really do have some prehistoric monsters in these waters. The sturgeon is one. It's been around for millions of years, and it could even be a gar. The alligator gars get up.
Those things are big. Those sturgeons, them things are spooky. They're super peaceful, though. They are. I think, like Razor was saying in the chat, it's one of those things where it looks really fucking dangerous, but they're actually sweet peas. I mean, I don't know if they're sweet peas. You probably wouldn't go, walk up and fucking pet one, or they wouldn't let you, but they don't fuck around with humans. Although I did see one in a lake one time when I was swimming around in it. Scared the shit out of me because they're big. They're way big.
12 feet long. I think there's just an interest in things that may be possible.
Alligator gars get 12 feet long? That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Is basically when it made national news. There was a plantation owner just outside of Newport that fishermen in the area reported to him, because they were just off the shores of his property, that they had seen a large creature. They described it having elephant-like skin, and it was 4 to 5 foot wide. When they went to the media with the story, it kind of took on a little life of its own, a little media frenzy for the time. I guess nowadays you would call that going viral. And from there, the former Navy diver, Charles Brown, decided he was going to tackle the adventure and go into the river with an 8-foot spear.
Wow, look at this fucking badass. Holy shit. He's going to grab his spear and go take out the fucking monster underwater. Fight it in its own home field, man. Good luck with that.
The visibility in this river is, he said it was only about 3 inches. And the first time he went down, he got stuck in the muck and they had to pull him out. The second time he went down, something happened with the valves in his air equipment and he bobbed to the surface like a cork. And the third time, he said that all he saw was a dead log and a large catfish.
That also made headline news that.
Yeah, I hear they got some big ass catfish down there in Arkansas, man. Big boys. I don't know if you ever get them noodling girls. You see them girls noodling all the time on X. Get your mind out of the gutter. Different kind of noodling. I don't know why, but noodling sounds dirty. Just sounds like dirty business. But you get them girls that make them noodling videos. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are from Arkansas. Nothing else to do down there except noodle.
I want to know, have you made this mistake with your holster? And by mistake, I mean, did you get a holster that's uncomfortable so you don't carry all the time?
Eluded a famous Navy diver.
I know.
In 1971, a Japanese news team dispatched camera crews over. They were going to document and maybe do a little documentary on this creature, and they spent some time in Newport. It didn't fit the large size of the earlier reports, but they also said it had a horn sticking out of its head, like a bone horn sticking out of its head. 1970s were kind of a hot topic for monsters. It's like the public wanted to consume any story that involved any kind of creature. 1973, Senator Robert Harvey is responsible for getting our state government to issue a sanctuary on the river to protect the creature from harm. I mean, that even made news because it's not been done before and hasn't been done since, to protect something that hasn't been proven to exist.
In February
There's
of
probably a good reason for
1973,
that.
in a bill adopted
That is kind of
by
cool,
voice
though.
vote, the state Senate designated a section of the White River from Jacksonport to Possum Grape
You already kind of heard
an
this.
official White River monster refuge. Referring to periodic sightings by reputable persons, this non-binding resolution, sponsored by Senator Robert Harvey of nearby Swifton, made it unlawful to molest, kill, trample, or harm the White River monster while in its native retreat, and no violations have yet been reported. I honestly believe that everybody saw something. I don't think that they were all seeing the same thing. And when you try to put all those together, you get a monster.
I want to believe there's something unusual out
I like
here,
this lady.
just for the
I
sake
think
of
she's got it
highlighting
right.
Unusual things. There's always been an interest in the odd and the unexplained. And me personally, that's my entertainment, is to come out here, and some people think I'm crazy, but to me, it doesn't matter if it's real or not. It would be awesome if it is. You never know.
You never know. All right, we'll leave this guy there. Give him a thumbs up. Once upon a time in Arkansas. So, that's the White River Monster, Whitey. And yeah, I feel like that's by far the most interesting of the monsters. We still got a few more to go over, but I think that one's my favorite. He's named after me. He's got to be my favorite, right? Can't do him dirty like that. Okay, the next one, another pretty big one that's fairly well known in Arkansas, called the Ozark Howler. And this one supposedly kind of hits all around Arkansas, anywhere in the Ozarks, right? So we got some good information here. Sightings, a hoax that popped up, of course. Where would we be without a good solid hoax in cryptozoology? Yeah. Give me a second. All right, there we go. Keeping up the chat. Okay. So the Ozark Howler, also known as the Ozark Black Howler, the Hoo-Hoo, and the Nightshade Bear. And the Devil Cat. I gotta say, the Ozark Howler is my favorite. The Hoo-Hoo, come on. Doesn't make it sound like some super spooky beast. Nightshade Bear, that's kind of cool, though. It is a legendary creature that is purported to live in remote areas of Arkansas. Well, all of Arkansas is a remote area, so that doesn't make it any easier to spot. Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas, like I was saying, it's like all over the Ozarks. It is typically described as being bear-sized, with a thick body, stocky legs, black shaggy hair, glowing red eyes, and prominent horns. Everything in Arkansas has horns. Their fucking fish have horns, their bear have horns, their go-ros have horns. Its cry is often described as being a combination of a wolf's howl, an elk's bugle, and the laugh of a hyena. That's quite a fucking cry right there. According to Forrest Galante and his wife Jessica, it turns out that the Ozark Howler is actually the North American red wolf. Okay, well, let's see what that's about then. I don't know too many North American red wolves that have horns. Then again, I don't know too many North American red wolves either. Don't have too many of those around. Cryptozoologists have speculated that the creature might be a misidentified or unrecognized big cat. Anthropologists and folklorists have speculated that the creature might be branching off of the black dog of death found in British folklore, such as the Church Grim, Black Shuck, and the Guy Trash. Man, when we eventually move our cryptid and our folklore series over to the UK, that's going to be a lot of fun. They got all kinds of crazy shit there. These comparisons note that many versions of the hellhound are described, like the Ozark Howler, as having glowing red eyes. The Ozark Howler has also, like these legendary beasts, been described as a dark omen predicting the death of those who see it. Some biologists who believe the Ozark Howler assert that it's a mountain lion breed that has either mutated into a new subspecies or is a hybrid of a mountain lion and an unknown creature. Other guesses have included that the Ozark Howler might be a wild boar, an eastern woodland bison, a hyena, although there isn't a native one, or a surviving member of the creodont family. What's the creodont? Avoiding pseudoscientific just so stories of the Ozark Howler. I don't know how that sentence didn't make any sense at all. Okay, well, we're not going to go through this whole article to find out what a creodont is. Okay, we're going to have to look it up. Fucking creodont. What are you? Creodont. Let's go to images. Okay, so it's kind of like a hyena. Big ass striped dog with some big ass teeth. Look at, oh, you can't see it. Look at that guy. Okay, so wouldn't want to fuck with one of them in a dark alleyway. All right, point taken. Hoax. Chad Arment asserts in his book Cryptozoology that the Ozark Howler myth is a hoax. According to Arment, he and many other cryptozoologists received email messages making claims about the Ozark Howler evidence. These messages were tracked down to a University of Arkansas student who had made a bet that he could fool the cryptozoological research community. Well, that's kind of a bummer. However, stories of the Ozark Howler are said to predate this. Jason Offutt, in his new book, Chasing American Monsters, writes that many people have dismissed the Ozark Howler, but Howler sightings stretch back to the early 1800s. Lauren Coleman has endorsed the book as highly recommended, writing Offutt does a special service to the field of cryptozoology with this new book. Oh, well, that sells me. Lauren Coleman, why didn't you say that? History of sightings. The earliest legend of the Ozark Howler is of a meeting between Daniel Boone and a creature in Missouri in the early 1800s. Boone is purported to have fired his gun at the Ozark Howler in some versions of the story, although there is no evidence that the beast was killed and kept as a trophy. Recently, the Ozark Howler was in Newton County, Arkansas in 2011. Most recently, in 2015, an area resident claimed to have photographed the Ozark Howler at Devil Dens State Park. And Ozark Howler in literature, we got 1930s press. Local press published a small run of a book of folklore about the creature called The Tales of the Ozark Howler. Decades later, folklorist Vance Randolph referred to the Ozark Howler by the name Hoo-Hoo in the book Ozark Superstitions, so you have him to thank for that stupid name. In 1973, the Ozark Howler was reimagined as a multi-dimensional time-traveling creature. Of course it was. We're in Arkansas. They imagine all kinds of crazy shit out there. In Timothy Goodwin's short story, The Hair of the Black Howler. More recently, it was written about in the children's books Hunt of the Ozark Howler, as well as the Mason-Dixon series novels. It has also inspired regional poets, most notably K.W. Peary's book Ozark Howler and the Ozark Howler Verse by Rufus Gray. And it's got its own Pokemon card. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe go fuck yourself. Maybe... Okay, I was like, maybe my computer froze. Oh, shit. Okay, well, there you have it. There's some info on the Ozark Howler. Of course, we got a couple videos we got to watch on it. From Fright Night, I like this channel. Give them a like. They're usually a pretty good channel. Got a good, quick little 4-minute video here to watch on the Ozark Howler. Let's go ahead and see what they got to say about it.
Stalking the physiographic region of the Ozarks between Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and a bit of Kansas is a creature that's stricken fear into the hearts of those who have encountered it for years past. A rare cryptid known for chasing and even attacking the unsuspecting, this beast is usually recognized for its chilling and otherworldly cry. Are you sure you're ready to explore the legend of the dreaded Ozark Howler? The Ozark Howler is a cryptid creature that's said to inhabit the dense forests and rugged terrain of the Ozarks in the United States. Described as a large, black, or dark-colored beast with glowing red eyes, it's believed to be a nocturnal predator that emits an eerie howl, adequately earning its moniker. The history and lore surrounding the Ozark Howler are deeply rooted in the folklore and legends of the locale, and can be traced back to the Native American tribes that once inhabited the area. Various tribes, including the Osage, the Quapaw, and the Cherokee, have passed down stories of this fearsome monstrosity that prowled the forests. That was often depicted as a guardian of the wilderness itself, possessing supernatural abilities and a fierce protective nature. According to native folklore, the Ozark Howler was regarded as a spiritual entity, sometimes associated with thunderstorms and other natural disasters, and many tribes believed that encountering the Howler was both a blessing and a warning, as it represented the power and unpredictability of nature. As European settlers began to explore and settle into the Ozark region through the 18th and 19th centuries, stories of encounters with the Ozark Howler began to increase. These settlers often described eerie sounds echoing through the night and reported glimpses of a mysterious black creature lurking in the shadows, sometimes depicted as a large cat-like abomination, and at others as something similar to a werewolf. These encounters...
I gotta unmute myself before I talk. So, I gotta say, I don't know about the Upspeak. I do like this channel. Is that what Upspeak is right there? That's Upspeak, right? The nano, the werewolf. You know, it kind of gets to me. You know, it's kind of like, that was like a thing with a lot of YouTube channels. They would do that whole Upspeak. If that's Upspeak, I don't know what the fuck it is. But it's kind of like, you know, I don't know why, but it gets to me. Not a fan of that.
Only further fueled the legend surrounding the monster, leading to its reputation
you see what I'm
as
saying?
a fearsome and elusive predator.
I'm not making
Through
it
the
up.
late 20th
Not
century,
crazy.
The Ozark Howler gained renewed interest as reports of sightings and encounters increased once again. Witnesses described this creature as a massive bear-like animal with a shaggy coat and prominent horns or antlers, and its red eyes were often painted as glowing or luminescent, adding to its supernatural aura. The Howler's distinctive vocalizations resemble...
Doesn't have anything to do with anything, really. But for those that don't know, the difference between a horn and an antler is an antler is made of bone, and a horn is actually made of hair. It's like, there's a word for it, but it's compressed, really thick fibered hairs. That's what a horn is. So like rhinoceros horn, it's hair, like really thick follicled hair, all bunched up and compressed until this big ass thing that it can fuck you up with. Same with pronghorn antelope. But antlers, like what you would find on an elk or a deer, are actually bone. So, interesting little tidbit there for you that you'll probably remember, but it's completely useless. You'll never use that information in your life, but there you go.
A mix of a wolf's howl and of a big cat's roar further intensified its mystique. In more recent times, cryptozoologists and enthusiasts have delved into the lore surrounding the Ozark Howler, attempting to gather evidence and document sightings. However, the creature's elusiveness and the rugged, remote nature of the Ozark Mountains made definitive proof difficult to obtain. Notably, skeptics dismissed what accounts were documented as misidentifications of known animals or outright hoaxes, while believers remained convinced of the creature's relevance. Beyond its existence as a physical monster, the Ozark Howler has become somewhat of a symbol of the untamed wilderness and of the deep connection between humans and nature. In Ozark folklore, encountering the Howler is often associated with moments of introspection, reverence for the natural world, and a reminder of the fragility of humanity in the face of vast primal forces. The Ozark Howler has also since sneaked its way into pop culture, inspiring fictional works, artwork, and even a local American football team's name. And festivals and events revolving around the creature's legacy have emerged through the Ozark region, drawing tourists and enthusiasts alike, all who seek to explore the mysteries of the Howler. In conclusion, the history and lore of the Howler are deeply intertwined with the rich cultural heritage of the Ozark Mountains. From ancient Native American beliefs to the modern fascination with cryptids and the unexplored corners of the natural world, its legacy continues to captivate and intrigue those who venture into the heart of its deep wilderness. At the end of the day, as always, what you choose to believe in is up to you, but if you are planning any trips through the region, you may just want to keep a weathered eye on the encompassing thickets, and one ear open for the iconic and spine-tingling shriek of the fabled Ozark Howler.
Of the fabled Ozark Howler.
Thanks for joining me in exploring the pastimes and lore surrounding the Ozark.
I don't know how he talks like that. I can't even make my voice do that over and over again. It's got to be a very specific thing. But go ahead and give him a like. Anyways, I like his videos. He's always got interesting information to add. And, oh, hold on. Let me finish my... Oh, that's the wrong thing. Let me finish my messages in the chat. Then we'll move on to the Snoffus. Snoffus? I'm not saying that right. Yeah. I don't know. The shit you guys got in Arkansas, I don't know how to say half of it. The Snoffus. Looks about right, yeah. No, that's kind of interesting how that works, Razor, in Saudi Arabia. Oh, fuck. What do we call that? Oh. Yeah, that's very interesting, though, man. I did not know that's how the criminal justice system worked in Saudi Arabia. Learn something new every day, man. Okay, so the Snoffus. The Snoffus is a creature from the tales of the lumberjacks of the emerging United States. Oh, shitballs. You know what? I just realized we never put in a location for the howler monkey thing. What was it? The Ozark Howler. That's right. The Ozark Howler monkey. Now let's go back over here. Ozark Howler real quick. And Missouri, Newton County, Devil's Den State Park. Okay. Got a picture of it, supposedly. Devil's Den. I like the name of that. Devil's Den State Park. That's kind of far away from where I'm at. But we'll save it anyways. Devil's Den State Park. You get to go in the spooky sites list. Should go in there just for the fucking name. Devil's Den State Park. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay, so we got a few on there. All right, let's continue to the Snoffus. Okay. So, lumberjacks and the emerging United States spoke of the Snoffus, which is a white deer with wings and huge antlers. Remember the difference between antlers and horns? That lives in the woods of the Ozark Mountains of the United States. The antlers of the Snoffus are said to be the living branches of a dogwood tree and are often depicted as having blossoms on them, as well as green leaves. Oh, so it's kind of majestic, this fucking guy. The Snoffus is said to be able to leap from forest floor to the tops of trees and to perch on the slenderest of branches like a squirrel, so it's nimble. And it is described as jumping from branch to branch like a monkey. As it does, it says, "Hallelujah, hallelujah." Okay, well, it was majestic until we got to the whole hallelujah thing. That's probably what it sounds like. Y'all in Arkansas, man, you get me. This is great. Definitely by far my favorite fucking cryptid so far. At other times, the Snoffus is said to make sounds like a songbird. The Snoffus is purported to exhale blue mist from its mouth, which drifts upwards towards the sky, forming a blue haze of clouds. This behavior is particularly attributed to the Snoffus in autumn. A creature of folklore. In Ozark folklore, the Snoffus is commonly associated with other fantastic creatures of the region, such as the Gowrow, Gowrow, and the Ozark Howler. But unlike the traditional legends associated with these creatures, the tales of the Snoffus are usually told in an openly tongue-in-cheek manner. Well, yeah, if it's if it's hopping around branches going hallelujah, like, that's kind of, you can't say that without smiling, indicating that the existence of the Snoffus isn't meant to be accepted as literal truth. It's telling that the fundamental reports of the Snoffus in print comes from the folklorist Vance Randolph's book, We Always Lie to Strangers. This is that same guy who decided it was better to call the Ozark Howler a hoo-hoo. Okay, so just putting that out there. He probably added the hally-hoo bullshit too. There are clear mythological links between the Snoffus and the white stag of Arthurian legends in the British Isles. Both are white deer who appear in order to lead people deeper into the wilderness on some kind of quest. Some versions of the Snoffus legend depict the mystic white deer as an omen of death, following the Celtic pattern of hellhound warnings, in which one sighting of the sighting leads to delight, a second sighting of the Snoffus summons fear. So they kind of fucked that sentence up. And a third sighting of the Snoffus results in death. Oh, shit. In the late 20th century, the mythology of the Snoffus took on new elements as the creature became an emblem for the environmentalist community in the southern United States. Okay. On the first Saturday of October, environmentalists celebrate Snoffus Day by taking walks in natural settings. Well, look at that. Okay. And we got a video. The Place Mystery of the Snoffus. All right. I didn't realize I had a video for this. Fucking A. Let's go ahead and see what was the KY3 local news channel, I'm assuming. Let's see what they have to say.
It's home to all different kinds of wildlife, from the smallest reptiles to a few larger mammals. But it is also home to several animals from local folklore, some of which might leave you saying, oh dear.
That's for sure. Photojournalist Mason Seidel is exploring the legend of the Snoffus, a deer-like creature that means bad news for anyone in its path, in our latest installment of Fact or Fiction.
Most of us who have lived in the Ozarks in more recent times probably didn't grow up hearing a lot of monster stories. But if you would have been born 100 years ago, that would be a very different story.
One of the more colorful of the old Ozarks monster-type creatures was something called the Snoffus.
The Snoffus is usually described as a white deer with tree branches in place of its antlers. In some stories, it even has wings, but depending on who you talk to, there are several different versions of what it actually looks like.
People would often see it flying up, in the tops of trees. And in some places, the Snoffus was supposed to be a huge animal, not just a normal sized deer, but a really, really big deer. And the legend was that it would take a bird several days to fly from one side to the other side of its tree limb antlers. It was so big.
Although it sounds like it could be a creature out of the Dr. Seuss book.
Imagine,
the Snoffus.
I know this is going to absolutely piss somebody off. Well, let's be honest, I don't have that many people watching me, so it's not going to piss anybody off. But, I mean, I'm from Wyoming. I grew up hunting, okay? So, God, imagine shooting that motherfucker. Holy shit. Oof. Having that guy on your wall. Damn.
Considered to be a
That'd be a
bad
story
omen for anyone unfortunate enough to see it.
If you ever see a Snoffus in the wild, you're soon to die soon after. So it's It's not going to kill you, but just seeing it means that you're not long for this world.
How do you know if the Snoffus has been afoot near you?
The Snoffus was also responsible for the blue haze that we sometimes see in mornings in the Ozarks, because the Snoffus, when it breathed out, it would breathe out a sort of blue haze.
If you're wondering about the origin of the Snoffus, that story is just as unique as the legend itself.
One Ozark legend is that a hunter ran out of ammunition and used plum seeds in his shotgun and saw an albino deer when he was out hunting and shot it and hit it in the head and didn't kill it, but it ran off.
I mean, to be real though, man, if you were out hunting and you saw an albino deer, there's, if you see a deer with a fucking sexy ass rack and that's what you're out there for, you're taking that shot. You're like, oh yeah, this is what I'm here for, man. But like an albino one, I don't know if I could shoot an albino deer, to be honest, because it's so unique and rare. It's like, oh gosh, I don't know about that one, man. I don't know if I could do it.
Plum branches grew out of its head instead of antlers.
Like many other Ozarks tales, the Snoffus is another in a long line of stories that date back hundreds of years and originate in other parts of the world.
They're sort of regional variations of old dragon stories or just old monster stories that were brought over from the old country. So instead of dragons, you get giant buzzard-like birds, giant lizards, or albino white-tailed deer, things that sort of relate to local areas.
And caught me right when I was in the middle of typing. Okay, well, there you go. See, I'm pretty sure there's your albino deer right there. Man, that is pretty. I don't know if I could shoot one of those, man, to be honest with you. But there's the story of the Snoffus. The story of the Snoffus. That's kind of cool. Definitely not cryptozoology. Like, that one probably should have went on my Myths and Legends of Arkansas story or slide, which, by the way, I think that's happening here in a couple weeks. I'll be doing that one. But still pretty cool. I thought that was really interesting. Really neat one. The folklore y'all got in the Ozarks really is fucking cool. It is. Like, I can poke fun at the names and the goofy ass sounds that y'all make up for these monsters, but it's fucking cool, dude, for real. And then we have the Wampus Cat. So if you've watched these other episodes of the 50 States of Cryptids that I've been doing, Alabama has a Wampus Cat. I think it was just Alabama. Alabama was another place where we saw the Wampus Cat. I imagine we're going to be seeing it all over Appalachia and the Ozarks. I don't know if I'm going to read down all this shit because, yeah, we're getting closer to the end of the stream. I got to go get food, and we had a couple others in here. So yeah, we'll read a little bit about this just because we're going to hit this again in Missouri, where else? Kansas, I think it was, Georgia, Mississippi, probably here in Tennessee too when we do Tennessee, maybe Oklahoma, definitely Missouri. And so all those states are going to have a Wampus Cat in it, right? But I still thought I would make the note because it is apparently a very big thing out here in Appalachia and even in the Ozarks, I guess. So in Missouri, they call it a gallywampus. In Arkansas, it's a whistling wampus. There you go. In Appalachia, it's just a plain old Wampus Cat. A half dog, half cat creature that can run erect or on all fours. That's kind of freaky. I don't know why, but I just got an image in my head of like standing up and barreling at you on its back legs. It's rumored to be seen just after dark or right before dawn all throughout the Appalachians, but that's about all everyone agrees on. In non-Native American cultures, it's a howling evil creature with yellow eyes that can supposedly pierce the hearts and souls of those unfortunate enough to cross its path, driving them to the edge of sanity. Cherokee folklore, which is filled with tales of evil spirits lurking in the deep, dark forests that surround the villages, offers a different view of the Wampus Cat. Oh, well, let's see what they have to say. An evil demon called Iwa, the spirit of madness, has been terrorizing the village of Etowah. or Chota, depending on the version you hear, in what is today North Carolina. The village shamans and war chiefs called for a meeting. The wise shamans told the war chiefs that sending the braves to hunt and kill the Iwa was surely going to be the end of the tribe, for the Iwa had the terrible power to drive men mad with a glance. The war chiefs argued that the Iwa could no longer feast on the dreams of the Cherokee children and that something must be done. Together they agreed that their strongest brave would go alone and bring great honor to his family and tribe by killing the mad demon. Standing Bear, or Great Fellow, depending on the version of the story you hear, was the strongest, fastest, sneakiest, smartest, and most respected brave in all the Cherokee nation, and he was chosen to do battle with the demon. As he walked from his village, the shamans blessed him, and the war chiefs gave him many fine weapons with which to slay the beast. And on the edge of town, his wife, Running Deer, bid him a final farewell. She would never see him again in the same way. Ooh, I feel like I know where this is going, right? Okay, we're gonna read the rest of it. I have to know how it happens, right? Weeks went by, and there was no word from Standing Bear. Suddenly, late one night, the stricken brave came running back into camp, screaming and clawing at his eyes. One look, and Running Deer knew. Her husband was no more. With time, he would be able to pick berries and work in the fields with the young girls and the unmarried widows, but he would never be any good as a husband again, and by Cherokee law, that meant he was dead. Oh, shit. That's a bummer. Standing Bear's name was never again mentioned, but Running Deer had loved her husband and she wanted revenge. I was not expecting that, okay? Running Deer went to the shamans and they gave her a booger mask. I wasn't expecting that neither. A bobcat's face. And they told her that the spirit of the mountain cat could stand against the Iwa. Well, why didn't they just give that to fucking Standing Bear? I feel like they really fucked this poor guy over. But she must be the one to surprise the demon. Yeah, man. Bro goes to fucking kill the cat, and they're like, oh, you'll be fucking fine. You're all, like, strong and smart and sneaky and shit. He comes back, eyes all fucked up, and they're like, bro, we gotta kill you. You done fucked up. And then she's like, hey, I'm gonna do something. And they're like, oh, well, here's this mask. Like, I don't know. Just saying. Sounds like a little bit of sexism. Just saying. Just throwing it out there. But she must be the one to surprise the demon. The war chiefs gave her a special black paste. Man, they just loaded this bitch right up. They give her the fucking paste and the mask. They're like, have at it, girl. We got everything you need. Fucking Standing Bear was just left there holding his fucking dick. Poor guy. Which, when rubbed on her body, would hide her scent as well as her body. She kissed her former husband on the forehead, his blank eyes staring, and headed off to seek her revenge. Running Deer knew the woods as well as she knew the village, and she ate sweet berries to keep up her strength over the many days, but still she came across no signs of the Iwa. Then, late one night, she heard a creature stalking down by the stream. As she crept slowly towards the creek, she heard a twig snap behind her. She spun, and just as suddenly realized how quickly it could have been the end of her. Behind her, a wily fox darted across the path. If that had been Iwa, I would be mad now, the widowed Cherokee woman thought to herself as she continued towards the creek. At the edge of the creek, she saw footprints which did not belong there, and her former husband's breastplate lay at the edge of the water. As she followed the prints upstream, she saw the demon. Its hulking form lurched hideously over the water, drinking from the pristine mountain spring. The Iwa hadn't seen her. Lucky her. Running Deer crept ever closer, and just as she felt she could bring herself no closer, she sprang. The Iwa spun and saw the cat spirit mask and began to tear at itself as the spirit of the mountain cat turned its powerful magic back on itself. The Iwa tumbled backwards into the pool, and Running Deer immediately turned on her heel and ran as fast as she could back to the village, never once looking back. So all she had to do was fucking spook it with the mask. She didn't even have to run up and stab it or no shit. That was it? What the hell? What the fuck? Poor fucking Standing Bear over here, man. I'm starting a fucking petition, man. Justice for Standing Bear. Jesus Christ. When she arrived home, she sang a song to herself, a quiet song of grief for her husband. Yes, yeah, but also of joy for the demon's banishment. The shamans and war chiefs declared Running Deer the spirit talker and the home protector. Some say that the spirit of Running Deer inhabits the Wampus Cat and that she continues her eternal mission of watching her tribe's lands to protect them and their peoples from the demons that hide in the dark and lost places of Tanasi. Okay. And they all forgot about Standing Bear. They're all like, yeah, that fucking guy. You know, what an asshole. Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, the Cherokee could stand to tell some better stories. I'm just throwing that out there. All right, moving on. That's the Wampus Cat. That's the Cherokee story of the Wampus Cat in Arkansas, also called the Whistling Wampus. And now we're going to move over to the Arkansas snipe here in a second. I redid my chat, and it is so hard for me to read. I'm going to have to do it again. I can read it in Twitch, though, so. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's continue the Arkansas snipe. So I really did want to find more about this guy. I really, really did, because it's basically a giant mosquito. And of course, in Arkansas fashion, they also named it the skeeteroo. Because why wouldn't you? The skeeteroo. They also have a scientific name here that I'm not even going to try to fucking pronounce. I don't know what's, going on there. But anyway, the skeeteroo. Not a lot of information on this guy. We got this bit right here, and that's about what I could find. No videos or nothing, which was kind of a bummer. Because you don't run across many giant insect cryptids, right? So, the skeeteroo is a fearsome critter in the form of a giant insect. Legend tells that a lumberjack was lost in Arkansas. He went up a hill to orient himself. When he came back, the horse wasn't there. 2 Arkansas snipes ate the horse, chomped the saddle, and spat the horseshoes out. In another version, the giant insects devoured a cow and brushed their teeth with the cow's horn. An American salesman and a man named Daniel were searching for the cow. I like that, an American salesman and a guy named Daniel. The 2 men started walking around the swamp. Soon they heard the bell of a cow and walked to see it. When they arrived, they saw a dead cow with a mosquito standing on two feet on it, shaking the bell to call the other cows and make them arrive to their fate. So these are some sneaky ass fucking mosquitoes. The mosquitoes looked more like raccoons because they had claws that if they kicked a cow, they would pierce the heart of the cow. I'm going to read that again. The mosquitoes looked more like raccoons because they had claws that if they kicked a cow would pierce the heart of the cow. Because raccoons can do that? Okay, look, I didn't say this was written by a professional, okay? I made no claims of this. And there's also the story of Billy Jenkins. Of course there is. We all know Bill, the largest man from Arkansas, who got up at night and 2 mosquitoes grabbed him and carried him with them. The mosquitoes started to talk if they should hide him in the swamp, but decided not to hide him in the swamp because bigger mosquitoes would steal their prey. There's also a story that tells, they don't tell us what happened to Bill. That's it? We don't even know what happens to Bill. Okay, never mind. That Cherokee story was like full-blown Oscar-worthy shit compared to this crap. I don't know. This is very humorous, though. We never did find out what happened to the largest man in Arkansas, Bill. Did they hide him or what? There's also a story that tells that a man hid 2 mosquitoes under a cauldron, so they started to make holes in the cauldron to escape. The man pulled away their prickles so they wouldn't escape, their prickles, but the mosquitoes flew away with the cauldron and the human. Because, yeah, that's that. Okay, well, there's the Skeeteroo, ladies and gentlemen. With a name like that, of course, it's got those kinds of stories. And the Minashunka. Okay, last one on the list, the Minashunka. Another one where I just couldn't find a lot of information about a Minashunka. So this is what we got. All right, bear with me. The Minashunka, or knife dog. See, now that's a cool name, right? Skeeteroo is dope. You know, Whitey is the best, obviously. But knife dog, okay, is a cave-dwelling creature in Ozark mythology said to drink the blood of victims. Believed to be the size of a large fox weighing about 20 pounds. They have 4 pointed teeth. This is by far the least creative of all the monsters that we've gone over. Knife dog has the coolest name, but is easily not the coolest of all the creatures. These teeth have no enamel, keeping them permanently razor sharp. Okay, its description is strikingly similar to the vampire bat of South America. I just have to ask, is there anything that has to do with enamel in your teeth staying sharp? Do those two things have absolutely anything to do with one another? Because I'm just going to, I'm not a fucking dentist, but I'm just going on a limb and say that has nothing to do with anything. But whatever. I'm not from Arkansas, so I can't tell you. Its description is strikingly similar to the vampire bat of South America and Central America. Okay, wait. It's a large fox weighing 20 pounds. Its description is strikingly similar to a vampire bat. While the vampire bat is only 3 inches long and has wings, knife dog is believed to be more than 2 feet long, weighing over 20 pounds, and has no wings. Okay, you're just fucking with me. This is just some fucking with you bullshit, all right? Oh, that's great. It looks just like a vampire bat, except it doesn't. Usually moves in a quadrupedal manner with front legs that are substantially longer than the rear legs. Their saliva is an anticoagulant property, and the speed and surgically sharp teeth of their attack can make their bites nearly painless. Humans and larger animals often sleep through a feeding and awaken unaware of how deep the cuts in their skin occurred. Smaller prey, like chickens or household pets, frequently die from blood loss. Relying solely on blood for food, Minashunka are usually sighted in or near caves throughout the Ozark Mountains. Oh, wait. Yeah, it says a large fox. They seem to prefer hunting in total darkness using sound, smell, and a leaf-like heat sensor located on the tip of their nose, which detects where the warm blood is flowing closest to the skin of their prey. Witnesses have described hearing the clicking and chattering like sound that knife dog uses for echolocating food sources. Vampire bats, unlike other species of flying mammals, have the unique ability to run on all fours. Their evolutionary wingless partner, Minashunka, has the same nightmare-inducing gat, and their taste for blood is the source of the legend surrounding knife dog. There is speculation that the legend may be based on sightings of an actual animal species that is rarely seen. Based on the description of knife dog in popular literature, the animal species might be related to the vampire bat. The myth is popularly known in Douglas County, Missouri. The knife dog is considered a bad omen in Ozark tradition, seeing one as a harbinger of death. The legend of the knife dog is believed to bring bad luck to the storyteller. And there you have it. We have a fox that looks like a bat, but it doesn't look like a bat. So that's Minashunka. Skeeteroo is still, I think he beats that one. And that's what we have for our Arkansas cryptids. So, our map up here isn't exactly filled out, it will be once we add all of our myths and legends, right? Because the next time we hit Arkansas here in like 2 weeks, we'll be going over all the various myths and legends from Arkansas. So that'll be here in 2 weeks, that'll be the next macabre, morbid Monday, whatever you want to call it, macabre or morbid Monday. Well, I'll ask my family and see what they think is the best one. But there you have it. That is our first episode of Morbid Monday, the Arkansas Cryptids episode. So I think the Go-Ro was my favorite. That was easy by far my favorite. You caught that too, yeah. Isn't that funny shit? Yeah, Texas is pretty dope though. Now, I'm not I can just sit and chat with you. Yeah, the Texas is a pretty, I mean, I guess I haven't been to Texas in a long time. Tennessee is nice though. I really like living in Tennessee, man. It's a blast down here. Nice, safe place to be, and a lot of fun shit going on. My girlfriend just moved up here from Hawaii and she loves it. So, yeah, man, Tennessee is a good fucking place. I'm glad you picked up on that too. I was like, wait, what? Like, what are they talking about? Like, they gave us completely different descriptions of that thing. The giant mosquito was by far my favorite. That and the Goro. Goro was the most badass. Whitey had the coolest name. The Ozark Howler, he was a bit of a badass too. The Snoffus, definitely the gayest. And then the Skeeteroo, definitely the funniest. So that's my matchup. That's my final list for Arkansas Cryptids. So, all right. And it looks like we successfully got through streaming. Let me pull it back up again. Kick, think I'm still streaming there. Yeah, still going. Nice. Good to see that didn't get cut for any reason. And let's see what else. Rumble. That's still going too. Fucking A. All right, good, man. So that was a first successful stream on Kick and Rumble. How am I doing on X? X is still streaming. And then, of course, Twitch, obviously. Wow, didn't get kicked off of a single one of them. It handled it really well. So, good. Okay. I'm stoked to hear that. Stoked to see that. Because I'll be doing that again. That's going to be a common thing. We're going to I'm going to be multi-streaming on all these platforms now. 3 days a week. Few hours each day. So, there you have it. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, Razor, at the beginning of the stream, if you're still there. I won't be streaming till Wednesday now. So Wednesday, I'm doing Newsweek Wednesday. That'll be the next time I'm streaming. Again, next Wednesday, usually I stream at 7 for anybody who is watching. I'll be streaming at 7, not 8. I only streamed at 8 today because I was fucking around with all the Rumble and shit like that, right? Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. Hands down. I grew up in a small town in Wyoming, actually. And yeah, it was a very safe place, man. I mean, it was boring, but it was safe, for sure. Those smaller towns where everybody knows each other, they still got their crime, but overall, it's just per capita, it's not even close. I mean, total amount of crime obviously is not even close neither, but yeah, it's much safer. And when you have people who know each other like that, I feel like there's less of people are less willing to go fucking around and hurting each other when you grow up with these people, I mean, that's not always the case. When you grow up with some people, some people are assholes. And so bad things will happen because people don't like each other too. But it isn't the same as like being in a city, because I've lived in tons of cities, and living in the city, you just don't know anybody around you, and the thing is, if you're the kind of person who's going to go out and take advantage of other people, it's much, much easier to do it if you don't know who the fuck you're taking advantage of or hurting. You know what I'm saying? It's much easier to do, I think, in my opinion. I guess I don't know, because I'm not walking around hurting people and stealing shit from people, So if I had to guess, it's a lot easier to hurt people that you don't know. So I absolutely agree with you. Yeah. But then there's tons of small towns in America too. There's so much space in America that's filled with all these little teeny tiny towns, and not all of them are safe. I know a lot of them, I think once you get out into the southern United States, a lot of them can be pretty unsafe, but I still don't think, I mean, I'm not an expert, so you can't quote me on it or expect what I'm saying to be completely correct. But from what I understand, it's still not as dangerous as a lot of the cities are in America. Again, like, I live in Nashville and I fucking love Nashville. Like, I've never had anything happen up here that's been remotely unsafe. Living in LA Los Angeles was probably the most unsafe place that I think I lived. But Nashville's been pretty dope. Yeah, you can buy a grave that you don't end up having to continue paying for, but you do have to Yeah, you have to buy a grave plot out here. I mean, I guess you don't have to. You could bury your dead on your land if you own land, but most Americans don't own land to do that. And you can't like bury your, in your backyard, right? Out again, when that's kind of like the small town rural shit. I'm pretty positive like out in Wyoming, you can cuz well my grandpa has a graveyard or had a graveyard when he owned a cattle ranch. And it wasn't like the family graveyard or anything like that, but it was there from the previous owners and they buried their family there. So in the country you can because you own the land, but I don't know. I don't think you can in the cities. You're right about that. So that's very true. It is, and and I know even in New Orleans because you can't actually bury anybody out there because of all the water. They have to put the dead, and I forget what they call them. Mausoleums? Is it mausoleums where they bury the dead above water? So oh yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, definitely. No, you're still going to end up paying for it. Absolutely. Yeah. It is what it is, if anybody can capitalize on it and make money off it, it's going to be a product for sure. That's how it goes for sure. It is what it is, But so anyways though, yeah, like I was saying, you probably won't see me in here tomorrow, Razor. But I'll definitely be here Wednesday. So Wednesday, 7 p.m. For anybody else who is watching live, I don't know if anybody's still around, but I know there was 2 or 3 people that hopped in on Rumble. I don't know where you see that on Kick. I'm still figuring out a lot of this shit. But if there's somebody who was watching on Kick, I don't know if they still are. But if you are, I'll be here at 7 p.m. Wednesday, probably to talk about the Collective Shout MasterCard, Visa, payment processor, censorship stuff that's going on, right? So I've been talking on X a lot about that and definitely have a lot of thoughts that I want to get out there and a lot of information I want to look up. Definitely want to look up this whole situation and what's actually happening. Yeah, man, absolutely. See you next time. Like I said, that will be Wednesday, 7 p.m. Right on, man. Well, thank you. Good. I'm glad to hear it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Wednesday will be a pretty interesting stream. I think you'll like it. It'll be it'll be another news stream. Okay, so no more spooky stuff, but news stuff Wednesday. So, but anyways, Razor, you have an awesome rest of your night, man. Thanks for tuning in as always. Always appreciate sitting and bullshitting with you when we're on the stream. And excited to see you again Wednesday, man. So take care. Take it easy. I'm glad you got your car all fixed up and everything. And I will see you Wednesday night, man. And to anybody else who's watching live, thanks for tuning in. I always appreciate it. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And you guys, make sure you have an awesome rest of your night, too. And check me, or you can check me next time I'll be here, Wednesday, 7 p.m. And anybody who's watching on YouTube, also. Thanks for checking out the video. If you like, give a like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. But until then, I will see all of you next time. Razor, you have an awesome rest of your night, man. Okay? And I will see anybody else who's watching Wednesday. Peace.